Okay. Okay. So in the last class, we have seen mainly the ester condensation, that is called Claisen-Ester condensation. What we take actually this ethyl ester or maybe any other ester of, let's say, acetic acid. So ethyl acetate we take, and then we add a base. What is that base? That is basically the same where from the ester has formed, that is OET minus. And then if you add there, then you get same aldol type of attack, but in this case you get a beta keto ester. And then we saw there are 3 equilibrium that exist. Yesterday we saw that one, right? In Darjan's glycidic ester condensation, it is also involves the ester, but in a little bit different way. What I'm trying here is I'm trying to connect the static material for Darjan's glycidic ester condensation with the previous one, with the Claisen-Ester condensation, so that you can remember these reactions, you can understand it in a better way. So in Claisen-Ester condensation, we took the ethyl acetate. So that means here you had one hydrogen. What we did, we just remove one hydrogen with a chlorine. That is the only difference. Okay, do you see this now? We just remove one hydrogen and with one chlorine, and you see that the entire course of the reaction changes. Okay, just for one hydrogen to one chlorine, and the entire course of the reaction changes. Of course, in this case, we are not doing it as a self condensation, but we are taking another aldehyde or ketone. Okay, mainly a ketone, not an aldehyde, mainly a ketone we take. Okay, so what is the reaction? The reaction is basically condensation of an aldehyde or a ketone with an alpha halogenoester to produce an alpha beta epoxy ester, which is known as glycidic ester, using sodium methoxide or NaNH2 as base. What we said, so this is your alpha halo ester, and then we take a base. This takes first your acidic proton. Of course, this is more acidic. You have one chlorine, so the acidity of this proton even increases to form this negative charge, which is again resonance stabilized. Now here we add a ketone, R2C double bond O. Okay, we take a ketone. So what does it form here? Instead of attacking another molecule of this glycidic ester, it reacts to the ketone. That is also another difference. First difference is we have a chlorine instead of a hydrogen here, and second is we take a ketone. So this enolate would react to this ketone to form this sort of species. Now this O minus would attack as a neighboring group, participation sort of mechanism, and then this chlorine would leave. So you get alpha beta epoxy ester. This particular molecule is known as glycidic ester. Okay. Kita, what is that? Okay. Yeah, excuse me, students. What is that one? For minor? Agile. Okay. ठीक है, अपने इखाने रखे थे नील ऑफिस. Yeah, okay. Sorry about that. So yeah, so you then make alpha beta epoxy ester. Okay, that is called the glycidic ester. Okay. Now if you use again, sorry, do I need to sign? Okay. See. Because it. Okay. That's all. Thanks. Okay. Thank you. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah. So in this way, then we make this alpha beta epoxy ester. Okay. Now this alpha beta epoxy ester, if we hydrolyze with aqueous alkali, then this ester will be first hydrolyzed. So this ester will convert into carboxylic acid. Now this carboxylic acid, if we treat in the second step, if we treat with dilute HCl, then what will happen? This epoxy oxygen will be protonated. And then this bond comes and this bond comes here, this bond breaks. So that you basically undergo a decarboxylation step to form this enol form, which converts into keto form. So this becomes your final product in that case. So this is basically the alpha beta epoxy ester is basically the final product of this Darjan's glycidic ester condensation. But if we now take this one and treat with aqueous alkali followed by acidification and heat, it will convert into this kind of compound where you have one aldehyde group, CHO group, attached to the carbon where you have the keto group. So basically you took this kind of ketone and this keto group is gone and an aldehyde group came out. That is the product. Is this one clear? Okay, let me one more time revise it from the beginning. Okay. So what we said here is, as compared to your Claisen ester condensation, in this case, we are taking, instead of taking just a ethyl acetate, we are replacing one hydrogen with a chlorine. Because we are replacing one hydrogen with a chlorine, the course of the reaction changes. And also in this case, instead of reacting with the another species of this molecule, we are taking a ketone. Okay, so this, then we take a base. This base picks up this proton, which is more acidic because chlorine is electron withdrawing in nature, to form this enolate, which is resonance stabilized. This enolate now attacks to this ketone to form this kind of alpha halo oxygen OH or O minus. Okay, and now with neighboring group participation, it forms this alpha beta epoxy ester. So because of this chlorine, which is a leaving group here, this O minus attacks here, which was otherwise would have become like OH, but because of this leaving group, this O negative actually attacks here, so that it forms this alpha beta epoxy ester, which is known as glycidic ester. Now this glycidic ester, if we treat with aqueous alkali, the ester group will be first hydrolyzed, and then if we treat with acid and heat treatment, then this epoxy oxygen will be protonated, followed by a decarboxylation. Then you will get a compound where this aldehyde group is connected to this keto group. Got it? Okay, so now we will see some of the problems. The first problem here is, let's say you take cyclohexanone. So what we have seen in cyclohexanone, if you treat with alpha halo ester like alpha chloroethyl acetate in presence of sodium ethoxide, then what would be the product? This keto group will be replaced by a CHO group. That would be the product. By what kind of intermediate? By this kind of epoxy ester intermediate or the glycidic ester intermediate. And finally, you will get this compound. Now you can do the mechanism. That would be your homework. You can do the mechanism of this reaction. The second problem is, generally this question comes in exam in many of the cases. So the question generally they asked, what happens if acetophenone, that is PHCOCH3, how do you convert acetophenone to PHCH3 and CHO? So again, you can see that double bond O is replaced by a CHO group. How do you do that? Again, you take alpha chloroethyl acetate. Okay, that is basically the reagent for this Darjan's glycidic ester condensation. So you take the base picks the proton first, make a enolate, negative charge. This attacks then with your acetophenone to form this kind of compound where after negative group and neighboring group participation, it forms this glycidic ester. Then you know what you have to do. You use aqueous alkali heat to hydrolyze this one, and then by aqueous dilute HCl heat, aqueous acid heat, this will pick up a proton followed by decarboxylation and you get your final product. Some student sometime asked me, sir, why do you break only this oxygen CO bond? Why not the other one? If you see here clearly, do you see the problem? If you see it clearly, actually this bond cannot break because this bond has to come only here. It cannot come here. So this bond cannot break. Okay, because oxygen cannot have more than three bonds. Actually, it have only two bonds. It could be protonated to a positive charge, but it cannot certainly have four bonds. It do not have vacant D. Okay, so only this bond can come here, and this bond can only break. This is your only possibility. You see it later at home, you will understand. So only this bond can break. So this formation of this is the only possibility. Okay, so then you get this compound. Okay, another very interesting problem is this one. So they say that what happens when tertiary butyl glycidic ester is strongly heated. Okay, so generally pyrolysis happens when you heat an organic molecule very strongly. Generally, you get a pyrolysis. You have also studied this pyrolytic scene elimination. Actually we started it in the previous semester actually, right? So what will happen in this case? So you take this kind of glycidic ester. In this case, it is tertiary butyl ester of this molecule. Okay. Now the thing is, this tertiary butyl group you can rearrange in this way. I mean, you can rewrite in this way. So when it is strongly heated, basically there is an elimination of isobutene. Okay. In this way, so it forms like a six-membered transition state, cyclic transition state. So this picks up this proton, this comes here, and this comes here. So it forms basically a carboxylic acid. So this is your first elimination of isobutene. And in second case, you again have, so now this again resembles to your previous case where you just deesterify or you just hydrolyze this tertiary butyl group. So then you get this carboxylic acid. That means it will undergo decarboxylation under heat treatment. Okay. So then this bond comes here, this bond comes here, this breaks. So that CO2 minus leaves, and then after ketoenol tautomerism, you get this product. Do you realize what is the difference? What is the difference of this from the previous case? In the previous case, you are basically hydrolyzing this ester group using alkaline condition. But in this case, some sort of hydrolysis or this elimination of this tertiary butyl group is happening by elimination of isobutene. That is the only difference. But this problem is very interesting because this undergo two times elimination. Okay, to give.
Sir, can
Yeah.
you explain this problem once again?
Yeah. So what I said in this case is generally in Darjan's glycidic ester condensation. So you have this glycidic ester. This glycidic ester, so this ester group is broken by using aqueous alkali and heat, so that you get this carboxylic acid. And then this carboxylic acid, by using acid and heat treatment, it gets protonated, and that is why the decarboxylation becomes easier to give this kind of compound, final compound. In this case, basically this hydrolysis is not done by a base treatment, but the hydrolysis, okay, I should not say it hydrolysis, but I am just saying for your understanding, the removal of this tertiary butyl group is done, let's say hydrolysis is done by heat treatment. That is the only difference. By heat treatment, it undergoes a six-membered cyclic intermediate where the isobutene is removed. So this CH2 double bond CMe2, this molecule is removed from here to give an carboxylic acid. So now this carboxylic acid, again it resembles to the previous case. Again, after on heat treatment, it leads to decarboxylation, and it gives this kind of compound. After ketoenol tautomerism, you get this compound. Okay, that is the only difference. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so there is not much in Darjan's lysergic ester condensation. I hope you understood it. It is very simple, straightforward. Only this part is the main thing that you understood. But after that, all three problems are quite crucial. This is your homework. You can do the mechanism at home for this particular reaction in the first one. Rest two, the mechanisms are given. You can just practice it at home after, without watching. Okay. So today we will do one more reaction which will also be finished very quickly, not a problem. And that is called Parkin reaction. I think some of you might have heard about this Parkin reaction. In Parkin reaction also, it takes this kind of compound which is kind of related to your again this aldol and Claisen ester condensation sort of moiety. We will see that why I said this one. We will see this thing when we are seeing the mechanism. So in Parkin reaction, what is done is you take one aromatic aldehyde and you take acetic anhydride, excess amount, okay, little bit excess amount, at least 2 equivalent you need for one particular reaction. So generally excess amount of acetic anhydride is taken and a base is taken, and this base should again be the same as the acetic anhydride is made up of. So by taking the same amount or same acid, you take the base. Okay, you understand what I'm saying. What I'm saying is here you take this acetate, I mean acetic anhydride, and here you take the acetate as the base. Okay, if you take this ethyl, then here also you take a ethyl. That is the difference. Okay, and then after reaction of these two, you get a alpha beta unsaturated acid. So this reaction was very popular and very interesting because this cinnamic acid and all are actually made initially. Okay. Okay. So let's see how the mechanism works. Yeah. So mainly actually the cinnamic acid was made through this process in a commercial scale, and that is why this reaction was really very popular. Okay. So the mechanism is something like this. What you do is you have this acetic anhydride. Do you see this? This is CH3, CO, O, CO, CH3. This is your acetic anhydride, and now you take a base, that is acetate, sodium acetate or potassium acetate, anything. Then this takes up this proton, form a negative charge. This negative charge, of course, resonance stabilized with this one, and now this carbonyl reacts with your benzaldehyde. You take an aromatic aldehyde, let's say here you take benzaldehyde. When we want to make this cinnamic acid, you take benzaldehyde, correct? So what will happen? It is, if it reacts here, PHCHO negative it will form, PHCHO negative, then CH2CO, CH2CO, O, CO, CH3. So CH2CO, O, CO, CH3. Correct? So we have written it correctly from here to here. Now very interesting thing happens. We will also give a proof of this step that actually an acyl transfer happens here. This is basically the main attraction of this reaction. So here we have O negative. This O negative attacks to this acyl center, and this acyl group which was connected to this anhydride part migrates to this oxygen part. Okay. So via a 6-membered intermediate, cyclic intermediate. Then, so this O negative attacks here so that you get this O negative. When it comes back, this bond can now break. If this bond breaks, then what you get? PHOO COCH3. So that is OAC, PHCHOAC. And then here CH2 COO minus, CH2 COO minus. Just look at it little bit carefully, you will understand it. I'm sure you will understand it. I'll again come back. Let me finish it. I will again come back. So this O negative attacks here. It forms this O minus. O minus comes back. This bond actually opens up now. So you get PH CH OAC, PH CH OAC, CH2 C double bond O, O minus, CH2 C double bond O, O minus. Okay, so now it comes. Now in this moiety, this intermediate, you have two possibilities. One possibility is this negative charge comes, this bond comes here, OAC leaves. In that case, you get a styrene, and basically an acetate ion will leave, it CO2 will leave. So minus CO2 minus OAC minus. So that you get a styrene molecule, okay, as a side product. Okay. But now what happens is, I said already that we have acetic anhydride in excess. So this excess acetic anhydride will be now reacted with this negative charge. This negative charge will attack here, and then OAC will leave. So again it will form an acetic anhydride. Okay. Then actually this proton becomes more acidic. So now here if you see, this proton is actually not much acidic because of this carboxylate anion. This carboxylate group is present here, which is actually electron donating in nature. It is not electron withdrawing, it is electron donating in nature, and that is why this proton is a bit less acidic. But the moment this O negative charge attacks to this anhydride and forms this kind of anhydride here, this proton becomes now more acidic because this becomes electron withdrawing in nature. So that is why the OAC minus, which is coming from here or here, this OAC minus picks up this proton, this bond comes, here you have one OAC, this leaves. So basically you get this compound. Okay. And now if you have dilute HCl, if you hydrolyze acetic anhydride, anhydride can easily chop off. So it will chop off from here so that you get cinnamic acid. Okay. Okay. So if you have any question, you can ask, but let me go through it one more time. So what we are doing in Parkin reaction, we are taking an aromatic aldehyde and we take an acetic anhydride, and we take a base taking from the same acid, and we get an alpha beta unsaturated acid. What is the mechanism? The mechanism is, so the initial part is same for all the reaction. You see, for aldol condensation there also you have this proton goes. For Claisen ester condensation also it goes. Darjan's glycatic ester condensation also this goes. So they belong to all. They all belong to the same category. Okay. In this case also, then the base first pick up this proton to form a negative charge over here, which is of course resonance stabilized with this C double bond. This negative charge then attack to this benzaldehyde to form this kind of compound. Very interestingly, there is an acyl transfer that takes place in this intermediate. So this O minus would attack to this carbonyl center and this bond would open. So basically I just show one more step here. This O negative attacked here, form a 6-membered cyclic intermediate where you have O negative. When this comes back, this bond actually opens up. Okay. When this opens up, you get this particular compound. Now this particular compound has two fate. First fate is this O minus comes back, this bond comes here, this goes away. Okay. So that you end up with a styrene, which comes as a side product. But we do not want this product, we do not want styrene as the product, and that is why we take excess of acetic anhydride. If we take excess of acetic anhydride, what happens? This O negative reacts to another acetic anhydride molecule to form an anhydride of this molecule. In this molecule, where this proton was less acidic, it becomes more acidic here because this carboxylate is an electron donor, but here this anhydride is an electron withdrawing group. So the acidity of this proton increases. Now if you have this base, it picks up this proton and this OAC minus leaves. That is possible here. Okay, so that you get this kind of compound, which is also an anhydride, but then you do this dilute HCl treatment. Once this dilute HCl treatment is done, this anhydride can easily be chopped off. Okay, so that you get this cinnamic acid. Okay, is it clear to all? Everybody understood it?
Yes, but I think it will be more clear if we could discuss some questions.
Okay, okay, sure. So the first questions that comes, or maybe in the question in the exam, it comes generally that what is the proof that there is an acyl transfer? Okay, obviously you can understand this would be the first question, that what is the proof that acyl transfer happens and you get this kind of intermediate. So for that, this kind of reactions has been done where you took it like acetic anhydride. In this case, you just remove two of the proton with two, let's say, alkyl group, R2 group. Okay. Once this one was done, this becomes the product. Here CHO COCr2 Cr2 CO minus. Why we are getting this product and not the final double bond cinnamic acid derivative? This happens because you do not have a proton here. You do not have an acidic proton here. Because the acidic proton is not present in this Cr2 group, so the base cannot pick this acidic proton. So that this bond cannot be, this cannot eliminate so easily. Okay, that is why we get this compound. But how do we get this compound? This compound can only be obtained if this particular reaction go by this intermediate. Correct? So here instead of OAC, we have this OCO-Cr2. So if we are getting this intermediate, that means this intermediate must have come via this cyclic intermediate. Correct? So that we are getting this intermediate. This is what we are getting here. Correct? So that is why this proves that the acyl transfer basically takes place. So that is how this acyl group has come here. Okay. There are few more examples. So if you take this compound where you still have two proton, in this case actually it leads to alpha methyl cinnamic acid because you have two protons here. So then you will have one proton left here for the elimination of the acyl group, alpha acyl group that comes here. Got it? This also is as a homework, you must do the mechanism of this compound, of this reaction. Okay. Okay, so the mechanism for this reaction has been given here. Again we take, so this R2CHCO whole 2 we have already seen here. This reaction basically we are now giving a particular example. Here we take benzaldehyde PaCHO and here we take dimethyl acetic anhydride. Okay, and then again as we said that this will also be now dimethyl acetate. Okay, as a base. This base now picks up this proton first. This negative charge attacks to this carbon center, and after your acyl transfer you get this compound. Correct? So how is it coming here? So this negative charge first attack here, you get this one, this O negative in a cyclic intermediate, this O negative attacks to this carbon center. So this rotates here and this O negative attacks to this carbon center, which is this one. So this acyl group now transfer to this O negative. Okay, so that this goes on and you get this product. So this example is basically the same as this one, is a direct proof that acyl transfer takes place in this case. Okay, so now did you understand? Any questions so far?
Yes, I understood.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that is all. Okay, so that is all for this class. I think we can finish it early.
Sir,
Yeah, yeah.
I have a doubt in uh, that slides the reactions of enolate.
This one?
No, the reaction of enolates, the last previous class.
Previous class, okay.
Yes,
So,
the
okay.
react the reactions of LDA.
You mean the Claisen-Ester condensation part?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Last slide, right? You mean the last slide?
Yes, sir. The reactions of enolates with LDA.
Okay. Is this the one?
No, sir.
So it's not Claisen-Ester condensation. Which one exactly?
No, sir. Before Claisen-Ester condensation.
Okay,
It's
aldol part.
this.
Okay. Is it the stereochemistry or before stereochemistry?
After stereochemistry, the reactions of LDA, where we were.
Okay.
No, that is stereochemistry only. Where we were trying to control the stereochemistry of the product by
Yeah.
using LDA.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This is the one. Is this the
Yes,
one?
sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Mhm.
Sir, the next slide.
Okay. Mm-hmm. This one or this one?
Yes, sir. This one. Sir,
Mm-hmm.
can you explain this once the mechanism?
Okay. Which step exactly or entire step?
Sir, it's from the beginning.
Okay. So here basically you are taking this starting material and then protecting this OH group. Okay. Because
Yes,
you
sir.
cannot use base if this OH is there. Base will take this H first. So you take mesyl chloride. Okay. Trimethylsilyl chloride basically mesyl chloride. So Me3Si group will be protected here. Okay. Simple SN2 reaction, and then this is protected. And now you take the base. If you take the base, you have only acidic proton here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this acidic proton is picked up, and then you have cis enolate because you have this kind of a very bulky group here. So definitely your cis enolate will be preferable. Yes.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yes, sir. Here.
Yes. Okay. Now this enolate you are taking, you are reacting with this aldehyde. Okay. So because this is syn enolate, you would get a cis product.
Synaldol as a major product. Yes.
Yeah, so you get a syn product. Whether this will be up or down, that you will do if you do the if you do your the transition state. If you do the Zimmermann-Traxler model, then only you will get whether this will be both up or both down. That
Yes.
I have written here by seeing the example. Okay, that you can find out by doing the transition state model. So this will also happen because this is syn enolate. Your syn aldol will be your major product.
Yes, sir. That I understood. I only had a doubt in that stereochemistry part.
Okay.
And sir, in that in Claydon,
Mhm.
they apart from LDA, they also use something like lithium hexamethyl diacylyl azide or something. So
Okay.
does
Mhm.
that does that have the same function as LDA? Does it do the same thing?
Yeah, basically you need to take a strong base. That is the idea. Okay, you need to take a strong base. LDA we give because LDA is a bit well known. Okay, for you, if it is, let's say you are thinking about doing the reaction in the laboratory, then we have to think which base is exactly working. But when we are giving it for, let's say, academic purpose, the idea is more important. So here the idea is we use a base which is very strong, which would be able to pick up. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
in this particular case, probably LD is more suitable, and that is why probably they have taken. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So then we will stop here today, and so Monday we will have an exam. As I mentioned you, it will be again 1.5 hours. I believe you can all finish within that. There will be like 5 or 6 questions only. I think it will be comfortable for you to answer. But please, this time your mechanism would be more required. So give the mechanism for the reactions, and yeah, that's all. So one more thing I want to ask. For the next Thursday and Friday, I will most probably be not around. So I want to take one compensatory class either on Tuesday or Wednesday. So which day would be suitable for you? Is Tuesday evening would be fine?
Yes, sir. Tuesday is better because Wednesday we are having classes from 8 to 6
Oh,
continuously.
okay. So then Tuesday evening 5 to 6 or 5 to 6:30 would be fine?
Oh yes, sir, that would be fine.
Okay.
So which days did you say that class won't be there?
Thursday and Friday.
Okay.
Yeah. So for that, I will be taking, let's say, 1.5 hour class on Tuesday. Okay. From 5 to 6:30, let's say I take. And I will cover whatever will be missed on the Thursday and Friday. So I can cover up here. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Actually, most of the things we have covered. Now there are few more things like 5 or 6 different topics are remaining. So we can easily cover. We have plenty of time left. So we can easily cover those topics, and then we will go back to our seminar. So we all have this seminar in our mind, no, which you have already picked up there. So after we finish our core course, then we will go back to the seminar thing. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then you prepare well for the Monday's class, and then Tuesday we will all meet. Okay, just hold on. I have to take the attendance. Okay, done. Okay, let's disperse for today, and